Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop out here in the heavenly backyard garden. It is now the middle portion of the month of April and things are really growing rapidly out here in the garden. The daylilies are really showing some lush growth right now. I'm starting to get a few of the scapes coming up, the flower scapes coming up, but a lot more coming up in the next several weeks. And the dahlias, they're awake now as well. And the vegetables, well, things have been going on with the vegetable garden as well. As a matter of fact, almost too well. We had some warm temperatures in early April, too warm as a matter of fact, near record high temperatures for this area, middle 80s. And that caused my broccolini and my broccoli to bolt. Right now, the broccolini is a great pollinator collector because the flowers are in full bloom. It's a pretty yellow flower, but they're not very edible in my opinion. So I'm going to cut down those broccolini plants today, and I'm pulling out the broccoli plants. They've been growing since October, and we've been eating off them since Christmas, and just about every week, even during the cold snap during the winter, we had some fresh broccoli and cabbage coming out of the heavenly backyard garden. But in place of the broccoli, I removed all the old plants and composted them into my compost heap, and then getting from the compost heap some old compost that was now fresh compost, and I hauled that back into this raised bed and mixed it in. And also I mixed in some chicken manure with that and some bone meal and also a little bit of potassium. And I'll also added a layer of black cow, I pronounce it black cow, some people pronounce it black cow manure, K-O-W. How do you pronounce it? Is it cow or is it cow? It's cow manure anyway. And I mixed that in with the soil in the raised bed there. And I'm going to be planting summer squash. I have started from seed a couple of weeks ago, some zucchini squash and some yellow straight neck squash. I love those two squashes mixed together with some Vidalia sweet onions. Oh man, they're really good if you sauteed them together or even just microwave them with a little olive oil and garlic. Anyway, they're going into the garden today. Also, the tomato plants. Remember, I planted those tomato plants the middle of March, right around St. Patrick's Day. It was the mid portion of March. I planted the tomato plants in the raised bed, and we're going to take a look at those as well. To give you a little preview, they're blooming. They're already blooming. All right, with that being said, welcome to the heavenly backyard garden. Now here's what I'm talking about with the broccolini. I mean, it's beautiful flowers and it's attracting the bees, but I need to cut these back. And like any other broccoli plant, if you cut these down closer to the base of the stem, they'll send out side shoots and they'll be just as tasty as the original shoots. So I'm going to do that right now. Let's get to work on trimming down the broccolini at this stage. This is going to make great compost material. Well, that's done. I can put the knife away, and I still have some nice shoots up here. This is going to be on tonight's dinner table right here. This will be a good one right here. And some other shoots are coming up, and I'm going to have to, well, there's one I missed. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this because it's warm once again. So I'm going to have to cut really fast over the next couple of days. I probably got about 2 more weeks left in the broccolini before I'll have to dig this whole thing up because it doesn't like the warm weather. All right, let's move on to the old broccoli bed that I finished up last week, and I've been letting it sit for a while. Now I was thinking about putting on hoops and protective covering over the plants themselves, but then there's an issue of with squash is that, well, it needs to be pollinated. If I cover them up with the insect cloth, the bees won't be able to get in there. So on the other hand, if I don't cover them up, the squash vine borer, or the caterpillars that lay their eggs, and the butterflies that lay their eggs will produce the caterpillars, and they'll get in on the squash themselves. My goal is I don't want to spray with anything, and the insect cloth helps with that. But again, I need the pollination. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncover it in the morning and then cover it during the remainder of the afternoon into the evening hours, and hopefully the butterflies will stay away from the blooms. Or the other way I can do that is I could self-pollinate the blooms myself, the male flower with the female flower, and we'll do it from there. So anyway, let's get these in the ground. Now I started 2 little 6-packs. This one's yellow squash, straight neck, and this one's zucchini squash right here. And I got 6 each. Now, I'm going to put the zucchini on this side. I'm going to put the yellow squash on this side. So let's do that. And since I got the soil worked so fine, I don't need a troll. I can just use my hand to dig in to drop the plants into the ground. Let's go a little bit toward the center here. A little bit more. Put it right here. Yeah, I'll put it right there. And I'll just take the plant out. Oh, these are perfect. These roots are perfect right now. I'm just going to drop it in here. Careful not to hurt the plant itself. Now, it should do pretty well in here. 6 might be too many. We'll see. Let's get this. This one's got some new leaves on it already. Just carefully push it out and pull gently. Again, great roots in here. While I was working the other gardens, I found some worms. So I kind of harvest them and put them in here. You can't have too many worms, in my opinion. All right. This is zucchini. Let's put that there for now. Okay, got that done. Let's go and take a look at my carrots. I planted those last October, and let's pull one out and see what it looks like. These are the carrots I planted last October from seeds, and they wintered all through, even during that cold wave. And let's just pull one of these guys up right now. And actually, this one needs to come up. Look at that; it's a little bit too big here. Let's pull this one up. It's starting to bolt, and I got a carrot there, little one there. Oh, I can smell it. I got some cabbage growing nearby. It's going to be part of the coleslaw. Let's do one more. Let's do this one here. Look at that. That's a nice carrot there. Isn't that nice? All right. How about the potatoes? Let's take a look at those. Now, these are the potatoes I planted last October, the same time I planted the carrots, and they wintered over. Some of them got bit by the cold wave, but I protected them, and these all made it through the cold wave. And I harvested a couple last night for dinner. Let's just dig around and see what we got under here. There we go. Look at this. Whoa! Perfect sized potato. This is a Pontiac red potato. And I could just feel them. There's a smaller one. So I'm hoping to get several pounds out of this little area here. Maybe 15, 20 pounds, maybe more. Let's see. I'll eventually come in with a spade and shovel. Oh, here's another. Right there. It's like an Easter egg hunt. Yeah. All right, we got potatoes here. This is from the garden, again, that I planted last October. How about the one that I planted around Groundhog Day? Actually, it was between Groundhog Day and Valentine's Day. That's early mid-February. I planted here in the Heavenly Backyard Garden. Let's take a look at those. Wow, look at the lush growth of these potatoes. Again, these are Pontiac red potatoes, and they got about another month to go. Usually, I start harvesting a little bit after Mother's Day, which is the second Sunday in May, and these will be ready. As a matter of fact, they might even bloom this year. But when the plants start showing signs of decay, wilting and drying up, that's the time to start digging. But you don't have to dig immediately. You can let them sit in the ground for a while and let them stay there until you're ready to eat them. It's a good way to preserve the potato. Now, if you watch the video I made in the middle portion of March, building this potato patch here, it's a little 6 feet by 3 feet patch, and I planted Yukon Gold. There's the link right there if you want to see the video. Anyway, Yukon Gold potatoes here, and they're doing very well. Now, since I planted them a little bit later, they won't be ready until after Mother's Day, probably closer to Memorial Day, when these guys will be ready. But they're Pontiac, or not Pontiac Reds, those are the Pontiac Reds. These are the Yukon Gold. And the total added up here, I have 5 rows, 3 feet deep. That gives me about 15 feet total lineage of the Yukon Gold potatoes. I'm hoping to get 20 to 30 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes out of this little patch. So, is it a potato or tomato? Tomato or tomato? Speaking of tomatoes, let's go and look at the tomatoes. Now here is the tomato patch I built last March, these raised beds here. They're 16 feet deep and they're 2.5 feet wide and 5.5 feet in length. So I can reach anywhere in here at any different angle just about. I planted on this side the celebrity tomato, it's a bush tomato, and here I planted the better bush tomato. And they're going to get a little bit higher than a bush because these are indeterminate, meaning that they'll continue to produce and grow a little bit higher. These are determinate, so they'll produce their tomatoes all at once just about. So I'll be ready for a large harvest of tomatoes. Now both of these, the tomatoes are anywhere between the size of baseballs and softballs. And they're already blooming. I got blooms on these tomato plants already. So they're ready to go. I'm ready to stake them up. I put in some of these poles to help hold them up during their vigorous growing season. And once the tomatoes start developing, they're going to get top heavy and they're going to want to fall over. And this will prevent that from happening. And right behind the tomato patch is my cucumber patch. I planted them on the same day as I planted the tomatoes. Let's take a look at that. It's right behind me. It's right here. And the cucumbers, I put this in a little 2x2 square box, 16 inches deep as well. And they're doing very well. As a matter of fact, they're beginning to bloom. No female plants or fruit yet, but I got a lot of male flowers beginning to bloom on here. And it won't be too much longer before I start getting fruit on these cucumbers. And I have these trellises here, so they'll climb up the trellises and stay off the ground. Some of them I'm going to let hang over as well. I got some nasturtiums also planted in here. I started from seed, and these will supposedly help ward off any bad insects that try to, well, destroy my cucumber plants. Don't want that. I love my cucumbers. This is a variety called burpless. I love cucumbers. Now over here I have a grape tomato. I started this from a tomato last October, and I wintered them over into the greenhouse during the cold wave, and in January and early February. Then I brought it out into the area here in March, and it's now producing grape tomatoes. I already have a couple ready to pick to put in my salad. Next to this, I have another lone bush tomato. This is the better bush, growing in this large pot here, and hopefully I'll be getting some fresh tomatoes out of that as well. And next to it, in the same size pot, I have some Yukon Gold potatoes that I'm experimenting with. I started in this pot here, and hopefully I'll be harvesting potatoes out of this in June and July. When I need the potatoes, I can just dig down with my hands and pull them up. I put them on a slat because I found out if you don't put them on a slat, the ants will get in there. One thing you don't want to do is stick your hand down in the soil and come up with a bunch of fire ants all over your arm. So hopefully that won't happen this year. It has happened. Well, stick around to the Heavenly Backyard channel, as I'll be showing more and more throughout the next several months on the harvesting of all these vegetables, and also the wave of color that I'm going to be getting with the daylilies and with the dahlias that are growing right now. They'll be blooming later in May and in June, and the dahlias continuing into July, August, September, and October. Even November, I've had dahlias. So thanks for watching, and if you like this channel, please subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate it very, very much. This is one of my newer channels. I have 2 other channels as well. my Heavenly Backyard Astronomy channel, and I have a weather and nature page too. When the weather gets wild, I have my Pat's Weather and Nature channel. So those are also available right here on YouTube. So happy gardening, everyone.